right.
Are we back?
We're
back. All right.
What's
Friday. I don't know what, February 24th. It's a beautiful winter day here in Florida. I believe it's 86 degrees. My name's Paul Reed, the host, along with the Jason Crawford, the Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson. We're here for another edition of Live Feed Read. Before we get started, because the topic today is tort reform, I'm going to put on my blood pressure cup. That way I don't stroke out and frickin' die. Because I'm kind of upset with old Governor DeSantis today. Interestingly enough, his first 4 years in office, there was hold on a second, hit start. The first 4 years, there was, crickets when it came to, tort reform, meaning changing the laws to benefit some of the businesses, corporations that are now part of the new plan. Let's see, the American Tort Reform Foundation, the Associated Industries of Florida, the Personal Insurance Foundation of Florida, the Florida Chamber of Commerce, money, versus you, the individual who may get injured due to someone else's negligence, and rather than receiving fair compensation, i.e. be made whole, let me take this off, it's not helping. You get the legislative body to change the law, so you get screwed. Let's just jump right into it, because like I said, this kind of pisses me off, some of the stuff they want to do.
Someone who follows this closely, so what is tort?
Oh,
and what's
that's fine. A tort is simply the legal terminology for negligence. The actor is the tortfeasor. Okay. And the tort is the negligent act, meaning if you rear end somebody, the tort is a car wreck where you're at fault for rear-ending someone. Okay. If it's medical malpractice, the tort is medical malpractice. You cut off the wrong leg. And so if a dog bites you, it's a tort, meaning you got bit by a dog. So that's all it is. It just means basically something happened. Guys, I'm busy.
You got alarms going off.
Well, that's Leanne and so forth. So just a tort is just basically a cause of action, more or less based on negligence, that the injured person seeks to be, its terms made whole. Medical bills, lost wages, and pain and suffering are generally the damages. Okay. Well, forever and ever and ever, the corporations basically, and insurance companies included, businesses, they don't really want to pay money to anybody, number one, and certainly anybody who's injured due to the negligence of someone else. So every year, to be honest, they try to get the legislative body in Florida to protect them. Okay. Instead of taking steps to make sure people aren't injured, we'd rather just change the laws, because we know, we're not going to invest that kind of time and money. And I'll give you an example, whether you've been keeping up on that train derailment in Ohio, right? Sort of, yeah. Okay, well, long story short, the rail industry, they've had deregulation, meaning deregulation simply don't require them to do A, B, and C because it costs money and their profit margin will go down. So the government changes the rules, and what happens is you have a train derailment that now has blown up Ohio. That's how this works. Is we don't want to spend money to prevent things. We'd rather have the government come in and change the rules, so when things go bad, we don't have to pay. Yeah, welcome to my world. So let me go through some of the things they're talking about, which is every year. So one of the things the insurance industry has just. But before you start, is there an online place people can go to look at some? Dude, you're kind of breaking up tremendously. Is that better? Yeah. Okay. Is there an online place to go? Yeah, you kind of. What? Yeah, I don't know. Well, you're not. Last time,
Right. Is there an online place people can go look, find?
Dude, you're not, yeah, you got another microphone or no?
Not
Yeah, we might have to, yeah, can't hear you now.
weird. Okay. Well, just keep rolling.
All right. So and I think you're asking, is there a place online where you can get this information? Sure. I mean, you can, but let me give you an example. You Google Tort Reform Governor DeSantis, you'll get an article, and here's what it says. And this, there is no other way to say it. This is simply a lie. And I'll explain to you why. It says, additionally, this is one of the articles. This proposal would institute reforms to protect small businesses from being subjected to paying exorbitant damages when they are not primarily at fault. Under current law, fraudsters and con artists prey on small businesses by filing lawsuits when injured, even if they are up to 99% at fault. Meaning, you go into Walmart, for whatever reason, you slip and fall, but it's determined you're 99% at fault. And this article would lead you to believe that Walmart is going to have to pay exorbitant amount of money to you, right? Not how it works. I know you can't hear you, but that's not how it works. Florida operates under a comparative negligence system, meaning if you're 99% at fault and you get $1, they reduce that dollar by 99% or 99 cents. You get a penny. Yeah, Jason, can't hear you at all. If you get $10,000 and you're 99% at fault, multiply 10,000 by 1%. So that's in what looks to be a legitimate article, but it's simply what? It's simply a lie.
Yeah.
Now you're back. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
lie. So, we have comparative negligence, meaning your verdict or your judgment is reduced by your percentage of fault, which is the way it
Okay.
should be. Okay. So that's when you say, can you look online to find this information? Yeah, but unless you know what you're looking for, you would read that and say, well, that's bullshit.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Interesting.
So then here's another one. This is interesting. They want to, and again, this is all up in the House committee, so it hasn't been enacted and it's not a statute. But another thing is they want to cap your medical bills to 140% of Medicaid rate. Now, that doesn't mean that you only have to pay the hospital 140% of Medicaid. It means simply this. Let's say you go to the hospital down the street here, Brandon Regional, and you're in there for a month and your bill's $500,000, right?
Okay.
And you file suit, and you go to trial, and you
Yeah.
put up, here's your medical bills. Well, under my understanding of this 140% is you could only recover 140% of Medicaid, not 500,000 what you owe. So let's just say Medicaid pays 50.
Wow.
Let's say, and they don't even do this, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt on a $500,000 hospital bill. Let's say Medicaid paid 50,000 or would pay 50,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you get $70,000, 140%.
Yeah. Right.
Well, that doesn't mean you don't go Brandon Hospital 500,000. That just means you can only collect $70,000 from the at-fault party, the tortfeasor.
Wow.
Well, that's a great idea, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So put it into perspective. A $500,000 bill. What would it take to rack up something like that?
Well, I'll put it in perspective.
Yeah.
You go into Brandon Regional Hospital after a car accident, and you have a headache, your neck pain, you have neck pain and back pain. They're going to do 3 CT scans on you.
Okay.
CT scans, 10 to 15,000 a pop at Brandon Regional. Bam! You got a $50,000 bill.
That's it right there. Case. You haven't even been touched yet. You haven't even been cared for. You've just been scanned.
Then if it's, trauma, they bring in a trauma specialist team, they tack on another 10 grand. So, if you're there for a month, a $500,000 bill, I had a case back in the day, believe it or not, I'm going to go long story short, but a boat blew up and the guy burned. He got burned. He lived.
Okay. Wow.
Tampa General, $1 million+.
Wow.
So, you can rack up a bill. And again, the Medicaid reimbursement rate is pittance. That's why a lot of providers don't pay. And so again, don't be misguided. I only have to pay the hospital or the medical provider 140% because that's the statute. No, my understanding is that's just what you can recover from the tortfeasor.
Wow.
Because the government can't tell Brandon Regional Hospital, can't make them, in a situation like that, say, oh, you got to accept this as payment in full. Doesn't work like that.
Okay.
All right, so that's another one.
Yeah, because on the surface, this article seems, I think the one I'm looking at is FLGov. It's at flgov.com. But it seems to use all of the language that's like, oh yeah, I want to be protected from that. Oh, that sounds like a great idea, like on the outside. But as you're explaining it,
it all sounds good on paper,
right?
Until number one, it happens to you. Back in the day, they attempted to cap medical malpractice. Well, to $250,000. Now imagine, Jason, a man with a family of 4, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a wife.
Yep.
And a job. You go to the hospital and they do something.
Yeah.
Where you're now
cut off the wrong leg.
Forget that. You're in IT and all this.
Yeah.
You're somehow brain damaged and you can't do it anymore and you can't work.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be able to support your family on $250,000 for the rest of your lives? Well,
no.
You got young kids.
Yeah.
But people think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Until what?
Until it happens to you.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
All right. So here's another thing. This is horrible.
Wow.
They make it sound like this is a good thing. They call it one-way attorney's fees.
Okay.
You say, what is a one-way attorney?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Basically, here's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Your roof is blown off or damaged or otherwise needs repaired, and it's $10,000 to fix it, and you file a insurance claim.
Okay.
Your insurance says, well, that is not related to the wind or the rain or for whatever reason. They deny it and say, no, that's just, you needed a new roof. Pick your poison as to why they don't want to pay it, right?
Right. They just say no, yeah.
Well, before, evidently, these changes that may come soon, if you had to sue your insurance company and you failed, they had to pay your attorney's fees.
Okay.
All right. Well, they want to get rid of that. They want basically to do away with that aspect of the law. So now, Jason, that's gone. Insurance company doesn't have to pay the attorney fees, and you come to me. Now, I don't do these types of claims, but you come to me and say, look, my roof is damaged. I think it's covered under my policy. Insurance company's denying. It's $10,000. Will you help me? I'll say, sure. What's it going to cost? Well, we're going to have to file suit. This $50,000.
Yeah.
Now Jason says, well, wait a minute.
It's cheaper to
I got to pay you $50,000.
Pay the roof.
I'm like, well, I'm going to win. I agree with you. And we're going to get you your $10,000. But the insurance company no longer has to pay under this one-way provision. Guess what Jason does? Jason pays $10,000 to fix his roof and he doesn't get his insurance coverage.
Yeah.
And they do examples. I'll give you another one. Where maybe the issue is $1,000 property damage to your car, right?
Okay.
Whatever, I don't know. Something, but whatever reason, your insurance company says, well, that's pre-existing damage. We're not going to pay you. They do that. No, that was there before. You're like, no, it wasn't. Well, can you prove it? Do you have a picture of your car? No. They deny. Okay, you come to me and you say, look, I want to sue my insurance company because they won't pay. I'm like, okay, I'll do it for $5,000. Well, guess what, Jason? You're going to pay $1,000 because you can't pay $5,000 to get $1,000. So when you read these articles and they say, oh, it was a $213 issue and the lawyer got $50,000, understand this. What would happen if the insurance company paid that $213? The lawyer would not get $50,000 because there wouldn't be a case.
Right.
So don't fall for that crap. And that's what it is. and they throw these little things out at you, and it sounds good. You're like, what's the wah 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 or ooh?
Yeah.
That's so. But that's what they show you instead of the great majority of time. And I got news for you. This couldn't come at a better time, could it? When what was the hurricane that just blasted South Florida?
Yeah. Hannah, I don't remember. I don't remember the name.
Was that Ian or was that something else? I don't know. Either way,
Ian. I think it was Ian. Yeah.
Well, guess what? You think there are going to be claims there that are denied for whatever reason?
Yeah.
And do you think
there already are?
Do you think the insurance industry wants to pay the lawyers that have to fight for these poor people down there that have lost everything to get what's entitled to them?
No.
So what do, Jason? We called Governor DeSantis, and we called Kathleen Pasadomo and the Senate president, and we call the House of Representatives guy, whatever the hell his name is. And we passed these laws that say, well, no, thank you, but have a nice day and good luck with your home. That's now out in the Gulf of Mexico, about 50 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? I think, Jason, you can be SpongeBob SquarePants and live at the bottom of the sea. That's where your home is. All right, so that's another thing. And finally, this is the big one. They try this every year, but now they might have some steam. It's called bad faith. Insurance bad faith. And what is that? I'll tell you what it is.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Bad faith is simply, and it's best by example. A friend of mine, his car was used by a young lad. And there were issues, but the young lad hit somebody head on and killed a mother of two with a wife.
Wow. Okay.
My friend had an insurance company here in Florida, and he had a $10,000 bodily injury liability policy.
Okay.
Again, there's confidentiality rules with this, so I got to.
Sure.
But long story short, instead of running the money, running it over to the husband and say, "Look, we're sorry. Here's $10,000. Your wife's dead. Mother's dead.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to deny the claim. We're not going to pay it." Okay, so now what happens? My buddy gets sued. Okay.
Yeah.
What can happen there? Well, let me just say, because it ultimately settled during litigation, but but only because of bad faith being an issue. Bad faith is simply this: this company had an opportunity to get my buddy a release from this.
Okay.
$1,000. He would have not, his personal assets would not have been at issue. His money, garnished wages, they could have given $10,000, got a release, and it's over. But they say, no, we're not gonna, because we don't want to pay $10,000.
Yeah.
So Quentin Tarantino, you jump ahead to trial, and that case is probably easily worth $10 million. A dead mother with young children, right?
Yeah, sure.
So insurance company says, okay, here's your $10,000. Mr. Paul's client, you owe $9,999,000. And my guy says, what? You mean you could have given them $10,000 and I wouldn't owe any money? And they're like, yeah, we screwed up. We missed that one. Well, you can now sue that company. You can sue the company for bad faith. They're the experts. They're the ones that are supposed to protect your interests.
Right. Okay.
They have done so early on, not subjected you to a trial and an excess judgment, and now you sue them.
Okay.
They want to do away with that. They want to be able to say, look, we've got X amount. Hell, we'll make them go to trial.
You're making me lose faith in humanity right now. Why would we make such loopholes and shit?
If we lose, we would just have to pay the policy limits anyway. Let's roll the dice. Let's play Vegas, because more times than not, maybe we win and we don't pay, but there's no bad faith. It is probably the worst thing that the government could do to the insurance, whatever you want to call it, and the people of Florida, because without
industry?
the industry wants it.
Okay.
The insurance law, I should say.
Okay. Yeah.
It's horrible.
Regulation.
They've been trying to do this for 20 plus years, as long as I've been a lawyer. And you know what? Given Lord DeSantis, and I got to be honest, I'm not. Well, up until this crap, I was a DeSantis fan. You know.
Yeah. This is surprising to me because I'm not sure. Pretty in the.
This may be the proverbial straw that breaks the camel's back. Now other people won't care. You know, they won't. Well, they won't know even.
No, I was gonna say it's one of those things that
my TV world wouldn't know, but for this podcast, live feed read, you wouldn't know. But
because you might not know until it happens to you, and everything on the way that it's written sounds good on paper, like you said.
It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, accountability and protecting you from defraudment, all these kinds of things.
And get this, on my final note, to show you how much the insurance industry, last year, 2 years ago, you know, time flies, but people really don't like the Florida no fault. They want Florida to go to an who's at fault pays state, right?
Okay.
And 44 states, that's the way it is. The at fault party pays. And therefore, you know, you get rid of the personal injury protection, the no fault crap, and you require bodily injury liability coverage.
Okay.
The legislature passed it a year or two ago. DeSantis vetoed it. Why? It was because insurance companies would have to pay. Whereas now, if Jason, you don't have bodily, you and I are in a crash, and you're you don't have bodily injury, and if I don't have uninsured motorist coverage. Now, mind you, that doesn't uninsured motorist coverage once again doesn't mean you don't have insurance. It just means you don't have bodily injury, and I don't have uninsured motorist. Nobody pays anything. Neither insurance company pays anything. If you're required to have, in this case, it was $25,000 in bodily injury, right? And I'm required. Well, at least someone's paying $25,000.
Okay.
We don't want that. We'd rather nobody pay anything. Have a nice day.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, it's just not good. Now, I can tell you, my brothers up there in Tallahassee, the Florida. Well, we used to be the Florida Justice Association. I think we're now the Association of Florida Trial Lawyers. Whatever it is, we're going to try to fight it. But, you know, we're up against a lot. All of these companies plus more. All of the insurance companies and their industries.
Well, what could people watching do? Like send a letter?
You can go online and email. You can email the government.
Yeah.
I do it quite regularly.
Okay.
Don't know that he's going to listen, but you can just say, look, you know, I saw a podcast, you know, we don't need tort reform. Florida's just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you know, it is what it is. Once I've told my kids and everybody out there, there's only so much you can do. You know, you can make your voice heard.
Yeah. Send them that message and a link to this podcast.
and then you can bend over and take it right up the keister, you know.
Wow.
So, again, blood pressure through the roof. I have a stroking out.
How are you gonna relax? Go pet the dog.
Really? Oh, yeah, you worried about tort reform? Oh, yes, I am.
She's like, no. Where are those treats at?
All right, well, that's it. Let's go enjoy the weekend. It's gonna be hot, and it looks like partly cloudy, so it'll be a good weekend. Other than that, do you have
plans for the weekend? Anything?
Yeah, I'm
chill.
No, I'll be in Houston.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Barbecue.
That's right. Yeah. Well, have fun with that.
I plan on doing just that.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Well, without further ado, then I'll take us out.
All right, everybody. God willing, we'll see you next week.